Breaking tonight, over 50 Mexican officials are banned from entering the U.S. in Washington's crackdown on cartel ties within Mexico's government.
Now this is what's sparking the outrage. Most of the people on that list are top members of President Claudia Sheinbaum's ruling Morena party, and she's not taking it quietly. Sheinbaum is calling the move political, a direct attack on her administration, but Trump is doubling down, accusing her closest allies of working hand in hand with the cartels, and her of looking the other way.
I told her that I would be honored to go in and do it. The cartels are trying to destroy our country. They're evil, but she is so afraid of the cartels that she can't even think straight.
So the question is Washington exposing corruption or igniting a new political war between the US and Mexico? Because when you take a closer look at that blacklist, some of the names on it are shocking. One of the most disturbing names on that blacklist is Jose Ascension Murguia Santiago, a man who at first glance looks more like a mild-mannered schoolteacher than someone accused of working side by side with one of the most dangerous cartels in the world. But behind that harmless face, investigators say, is a dark and violent reality. Murguia, the former mayor of Teuchitlan, Jalisco, is now accused of working directly with killers from the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG, a group feared for torture, mass murders, and cartel-style terror. Murguia wasn't just a supporter. He allegedly helped run Izaguirre Ranch, a remote property prosecutors call a triple-threat cartel base. It wasn't just a hideout. It was a training camp for hitmen, a prison for kidnapped victims, and, most horrifying of all, a dumping ground for human remains. Investigators believe dozens of people taken by CJNG gunmen were brought there, and none of them ever came back. And here's where things get even more disturbing. Investigators say Murguia's relationship with CJNG didn't start after he was elected. They believe he was handpicked and groomed by the cartel long before voters ever saw his name on a ballot. This isn't just corruption. This is infiltration from the inside out. For years, groups like CJNG have quietly planted their own people inside local governments. They secretly fund campaigns, pull political strings, and make sure their loyalists end up in powerful positions. Murguia's case isn't just one mayor gone rogue. It's a blueprint for how cartels control politics without firing a single bullet. But Murguia wasn't the only one hiding in plain sight, because the next name on that blacklist is even more shocking. And this time, it's someone who swore she was completely innocent. Baja California, Governor Marina del Pilar Avila was supposed to be one of the good ones. Young, ambitious, and wildly popular, she was seen as the future of Mexico's political scene, a rising star in President Claudia Sheinbaum's ruling party. But in a single phone call from Washington, her world collapsed. Her US visa was revoked. No explanation, no warning, just a cold message that she and her husband, a former congressman, were now blacklisted. Avila was furious. She stood before cameras and swore she had nothing to do with organized crime. She called the decision politically motivated, blamed Trump for overstepping, and insisted that she and her family were being unfairly targeted. But investigators on the other side of the border say the evidence tells a completely different story. According to U.S. intelligence sources, intercepted messages, suspicious wire transfers, and unusual campaign donations all point to one thing: a possible financial link between Avila's inner circle and cartel operations along the U.S.-Mexico border. Investigators claim that money from CJNG-connected shell companies found its way into campaign funds and real estate purchases tied to her family. And it doesn't stop there. Documents obtained by U.S. officials suggest Avila's husband maintained communication with individuals flagged as cartel associates. While neither Avila nor her husband have been charged with a crime, their sudden ban from entering the United States speaks volumes about how serious the suspicions are. If the allegations are true, it means cartel money could be influencing decisions at the highest levels of government, right where U.S. security is most vulnerable. But this is not the first time a senior government official has been tied to the cartels in Mexico, and worse, even charged for it. For a long time, Adán Augusto López Hernández was untouchable. A seasoned politician, a close ally of former President Andrés Manuel López Obrador, and one of the most influential figures in the ruling Morena party, he was seen as part of Mexico's political inner circle. But now, he's at the center of one of the most explosive corruption scandals the country has seen in years. Allegations against Lopez paint a damning picture. During his time as governor of Tabasco, he's accused of allowing a powerful criminal network, La Barradora, linked to the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG, to operate freely under his watch. Instead of dismantling their operations, critics say he looked the other way, while the gang tightened its grip on the state. The political backlash has been fierce. Opposition parties are pushing for his impeachment, accusing him of betraying public trust. Financial audits uncovered nearly 700 million pesos, that's almost $40 million, in missing funds during his time as governor, money that critics say simply vanished. And then came the bombshell. A leak of 4 million Defense Ministry emails included a 2019 military report alleging Lopez had appointed cartel-linked figures to top security posts. One of those appointees, Hernan Bermudez Requena, wasn't just any official. He was allegedly a leader of the La Barradora criminal group, and despite the warnings, he remained in power until 2023. He's been arrested on charges, including criminal association, kidnapping, and aggravated extortion, dragging Lopez even deeper into the scandal. Still, Lopez is sticking to his script. He denies every allegation and calls the accusations politically motivated. His party continues to stand by him, insisting he's the victim of a smear campaign. But denial isn't enough to stop the growing storm. U.S. investigators are circling, political pressure is mounting, and the walls are closing in. And here's the thing, if history has taught us anything, it's that Adán Lopez might not be the last untouchable to fall, because this wouldn't be the first time a powerful, well-respected Mexican official ended up in handcuffs. Genaro Garcia Luna was once celebrated as Mexico's top cop, the face of the nation's war on drugs, leading raids, giving speeches, and promising justice. But behind that polished image was a dark secret. He wasn't fighting the cartels, he was working for them. In one of Mexico's biggest corruption scandals, Garcia Luna was convicted in the US for helping the Sinaloa cartel smuggle over 1 million kilos of cocaine, billions in profit under his watch.
Prosecutors called in former members of the cartel to testify against Luna. They claimed he received more than $200 million in bribes.
The betrayal stunned Mexico. The man leading the war on drugs had secretly been fueling it, shaping police strategy to strengthen the cartel and crush its rivals. Even the judge called him as thuggish as El Chapo, and his case left one haunting question. If Mexico's top security chief was on the cartel's payroll, who else is? Despite all the evidence Washington says it has, President Claudia Sheinbaum still isn't buying it. In fiery press conferences and viral posts, she's called the accusations slander and accused Trump of weaponizing diplomacy to humiliate Mexico. She insists this isn't about corruption, it's about the US deflecting blame for its own drug crisis. But Trump's not backing down. For years, he's accused Mexico's political elite, including Sheinbaum's closest allies, of letting cartels infiltrate the government. In private meetings, he's demanded arrests and extraditions, threatening massive tariffs when Mexico didn't move fast enough. Then, things hit a breaking point. Trump pushed for US troops or armed drones to operate inside Mexico to dismantle cartel networks.
The Trump administration is considering using drone strikes against the Mexican drug cartels that are importing deadly fentanyl into the United States.
That was a red line for Sheinbaum, who blasted it as a violation of sovereignty. But Washington escalated anyway, labeling major cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, unlocking powerful new military authorities.
So they are now designated as terrorist organizations, foreign, and Mexico probably doesn't want that, but we have to do what's right.
Despite public defiance, Sheinbaum quietly cooperated. Over 10,000 National Guard troops were deployed north, while CIA-operated MQ-9 Reaper drones began flying deep into Mexican territory, feeding intel that led to major raids. The strategy, while controversial, has had an impact. Sheinbaum announced that homicides dropped by about 12% in the past year, and killings of women and girls fell by 18%. Many of these gains came after US pressure. led to increased patrols in cartel-dominated regions.
Their behavior is going to have to change one way or another, but it allows us to now target what they're operating and to use other elements of American power, intelligence agencies, the Department of Defense, whatever, to target these groups if we have an opportunity to do it. We have to start treating them as armed terrorist organizations, not simply drug dealing organizations.
The crackdown worked. Fentanyl labs destroyed, trafficking routes disrupted, and top operatives captured. But with armed drones on standby and cartels striking back, one question remains: how far will this war go? In one of the boldest moves of the crackdown, Mexico handed over 26 high-ranking cartel members to U.S. authorities in a single, coordinated sweep.
I can't remember the last time that there was a bulk number of wanted individuals that the Mexican government agreed to extradite.
And these weren't low-level operatives. They were the big names that make front-page headlines. Among them was Abigail Gonzalez Valencia, the financial mastermind of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG, and the brother-in-law of the infamous El Mencho. His extradition wasn't just a legal victory, it was a political statement, proof that Mexico was willing to cooperate under U.S. pressure. And this wasn't the first time Mexico had delivered. Just months earlier, 29 cartel figures had been extradited, including Rafael Caro Quintero, the infamous drug lord accused of ordering the 1985 torture and murder of DEA agent Enrique Kiki Camarena. But the most disturbing arrest came soon after. Martha Alicia Mendez Aguilar, better known as La Diabla, captured in a joint U.S.-Mexican raid in Ciudad Juarez. Investigators say she ran a human trafficking and organ harvesting network for the CJNG, preying on vulnerable pregnant women. It was a horrifying revelation, proof that cartel crimes have evolved far beyond drug smuggling. But here's the chilling part: even with their top lieutenants gone, the machine behind them keeps running. And that raises the darkest question yet: how deep does cartel power reach inside the very systems meant to stop it? Despite the arrests, drone strikes, and raids, the war is far from over. Taking down kingpins makes headlines, but barely touches a system that's now more powerful and more dangerous than ever. Cartels aren't just smuggling drugs anymore. They're infiltrating institutions. Instead of bribing after elections, they're planting loyalists inside police forces, customs, and courts. People who tip off traffickers and bury investigations. This is organized infiltration, not street crime. Even after major extraditions, the violence hasn't stopped. CJNG operates like a private army, while Sinaloa factions fight bloody turf wars. And now, U.S. Homeland Security warns cartels have gone as far as to put bounties on American immigration agents, a chilling sign that this fight isn't just staying south of the border.
The Department of Homeland Security says Mexican drug cartels have put a bounty on ICE and Border Protection officers in Chicago. The department says the cartels are offering thousands of dollars for those who gather information on federal officials and their families, and even more money for kidnapping or assassinating high-ranking officials.
And the most unsettling part? If cartels are already this deeply embedded, the next battle won't be fought with guns in the streets. It'll be fought from inside the system itself.